God gives us the power to have free will in order to change our circumstance. That's not me saying that any type of change is going to come easy. It starts in the mind though. And if you're sitting here making excuses for yourself, then you're not even yet acknowledging your problem areas as to why you are still in that same situation. Hey y'all, it's Megan May and this is Transparency, where we keep it real about our growing pains and all the beautiful moving parts of life that may not be the most glamorous but shapes us into who we are today. So, if you're ready for some introspection and evolution, go ahead and lock in by hitting the subscribe button, and if what I says resonates with you, you can leave me a comment and or like so I know we see each other. So today I want to talk about becoming the person that you are supposed to be in order to achieve, receive, and keep the things that you want the most in life. The topic of this video came to me when I was really sitting here thinking. I was really journaling and I was writing out my thoughts and just talking about where I am right now in life. Where do I want to be? What have been my desires for the last few years? Have I achieved them? Have they been brought into my reality? What is missing? Just really taking pretty much inventory of my life. And of course, during this process, I was able to be humbled by some very truthful but not so pleasant observations. And what I realized is that I've been praying for things that, if brought to my reality, if blessed with at this current space right now where I am in life, I would not be able to sustain or keep those blessings. And I think this is important for us to recognize, because I think oftentimes we do the bare minimum and we think like, oh, I'm just waiting on God. I'm just waiting on God. If you're a praying person, I'm just waiting on God. I'm just waiting on God. For you universe people, you know, you're waiting on whatever you're waiting on. But realistically, I think what we miss is that it's not that we're waiting on a higher power of any kind to come and save us or to come and deliver the things that we've been praying and asking for to us. It's not that we're waiting on them. They are waiting on us. Or let me not say they, because honestly, I believe in God and that's what I subscribe to. That's who I pray to. That's the only thing that I be, or only figure that I'll ask anything from. So that's what it is. But I had to really realize that I do not have the things that I've been asking and praying for, because I am not who he needs me to be yet in order to sustain those things once he blesses me with them. And if you're going through cycles of feeling like you get a glimpse of this reality, a reality that you've been praying for, and you get to experience bits and pieces of the thing that you want the most, but it's still not a long-term thing in your reality, then I think it's really important to assess your behavior, your habits, and your way of thinking, to see if you are the person that would be able to acquire and keep these things in terms of sustaining them and also multiplying them into more. And I think a lot of people don't ask themselves this question. You know, we're sitting here doing the bare minimum or doing what's expected of us and thinking like, oh, I'm doing my part, I'm doing my part. But honestly, if you're doing the bare minimum, then you wouldn't be the person that would be able to receive, like, let's say you're praying and you're asking for $1 million. You want to be a millionaire. And I mean, honestly, I can't speak to how fast $1 million will go by. I don't have $1 million. But, you know, just thinking about somebody with poor money management, why would you think that you would be blessed with $1 million? What would be the purpose of you being blessed with $1 million if you have poor money management? If every time you get a little bit of extra money, you want to go on a vacation, you want to go to the club, you want to go buy bottles, you want to have this and that and that and this, just blowing through the money real fast, quick, and in a hurry, and you're sitting on pounds and thousands of dollars of debt, like, let's be so for real. What about you makes you think that you are ready, that you are in a position to be able to be blessed with the things that you are asking for? Why do you think you're praying for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to be a business owner? And you haven't been scared. You've stepped out on faith. You've done the little things that's required of you, like getting an LLC, finding a supplier, and just doing like the smallest things to really get the ball in motion, but yet the ball is still stopping. You're still not getting the things that you want. You're still not a business owner. Like, yes, you have the LLC and you have a supplier and you might have a little bit of capital to start, but why is it that your business can't grow? Why is it that it's tanking? Why is it that you can't market your products the way that you need to market them in order to sell out on a consistent basis? Why is that? It's because you are not yet the person that you need to be for that to be your reality. You have to be so bluntly honest with yourself about why are you still in the situations that you're still in. You're in this toxic relationship praying to be loved correctly, when you're obviously not loving yourself correctly, and you're obviously not open to being loved correctly because you still have this toxic person in your reality. You have the power. God gives us the power to have free will in order to change our circumstance. That's not me saying that any type of change is going to come easy. It starts in the mind though. And if you're sitting here making excuses for yourself, then you're not even yet acknowledging your problem areas as to why you are still in that same situation. You want to sit here and cry that you're broke. Every time that somebody wants you to do something with them, you talking about, oh, I don't have the money, I'm broke. Why are you broke? Why is it that every time somebody asking you, oh, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to go here, you want to go there, you sitting here talking about you broke. And you're not saying that you broke because you don't want to do it. You're saying you're broke because you're actually broke. Why? Why? It's because you have not yet changed your mindset. You have not changed the broke practices and habits that you've been continuously engaging with so that you can change your reality. You're praying, yes, God, please get me out of this circumstance. God, please get me out of this situation. God, I promise. How many times we done sat here and made promises to God, like, oh my gosh, God, if you give me this, I promise I'll never go back to doing X, Y, and Z again. I promise I'll stop hanging out with this person. I promise I'll leave this alone. How many times do we make these empty promises to God? We can't fool him. So when you sitting here saying all of these things that you're not backing by action, you are delaying your blessings. You are delaying the things that you want the most in your life. Because you have yet to accept that, yes, I am the problem. But I am willing to change, and not only be willing to change, but actually implement change so that what you want can be brought into your reality. Why do you think you are going to get blessed with the things that you're praying for if you have yet to abandon the ideas, the practices, the habits, all of the negative and sabotaging things about yourself that are going to come and pretty much eat away at what you just prayed for? You're not going to be blessed with more money if you have poor financial decision making. You're not going to be blessed with more money if you don't know how to manage your finances. You're not going to be blessed with more money or a better job if you can't show up on time and commit to what it is that they're asking for you to do. Why would you be put in a better position if you can't even handle where you are now? And this is something I had to really be honest with myself about. You asking for all these things, and they're big things, they're great things, and of course they are life-changing, yes. But why would God feel like, okay, yeah, let me get this to her if I will only have it for the blink of an eye and then I'm back asking for it again? Do you know how many times I've asked God, please get me out of this financial bind? God, please let me get more money. God, please let me get a better job. All these things I done asked for, and I do better now, but in the process of getting to where I am now, it's like I was sabotaging myself because I'm asking for more money as I'm continuously charging things to my credit card and not paying the credit card off. So why would I be blessed with more money? To be put in more debt? Because once you get more money, oftentimes you increase your expense. You increase your expenses. So what that mean? You go out and you buy something new. Something that you probably still can't afford, but in your mind you have more money, so you can afford to do this thing. But like most people say, most people being like the successful people, not most people like common everyday people, you cannot afford something if you cannot buy it 2 and 3 times and not be missing that money. So in that case, in the case of praying to have a financial breakthrough of any kind, whether that be getting a new job, marrying a rich partner, whatever your desires are, why would that be something brought into your reality if you have yet to manage what you have now better and in a way that God can trust you with more? I'm sorry, Stink, but you really got to be real with yourself. And in the case, going back to the business, why is it that you think that you would be able to sustain a business? I think we're in a time now where everybody is looking for like different types of passive income, and that's absolutely okay, because honestly, like, baby, if you got any bills, then you understand. If you got any type of financial responsibility, then you understand why it's so important to have multiple streams of income, because things are expensive. Things are expensive. So yes, I get it. But when you're sitting here saying that, oh, you want to build a business, baby, it's more than just saying that you want to build a business. Are you the person that's really going to be able to make that business work for you? Or are you going to be a slave to that business forever? Are you going to not stand true to the course because when discouraging things come, you want to quit, or you want to sit and sulk for a week, 2 weeks, and not really find a way to get around the obstacle? It's so many things that we have to do in terms of shifting our mindsets and shifting our mentality to be able to be the person that is going to be able to keep the blessings that we're praying for. And I think that's just very important. If we can really boil it down into even being like somebody that's still in school, you praying for straight A's, or you thinking like, oh my gosh, you know, I really want this internship, or I really just want to be a part of this team. Like, we can even make it about somebody that's in like middle or high school. I really want to be a part of this team. But on your spare time, you're not doing anything to put yourself in position for that to be a part of your reality. So let's take being an athlete, for example. You want to make, let's say, the basketball team. You're sitting here every time that you're not doing homework. First off, you're doing your homework in a lazy fashion. You're not really doing it so that you can absorb and retain the information that the homework is presenting to you. You're just doing things so that you can get your A. Cool. Been there, done that, not judging. I'm just saying what it is. So you're doing that, but you practice how you play. So if you give bare minimum effort in the classroom, maybe, just maybe, I've seen it where it's not, this is not the case. Some athletes indeed give their all on the field and half-ass in the classroom. But you practice how you play. So essentially, you would be probably likely to show up the same way in pursuing to make the basketball team. What does that mean? That means that when you're not doing your homework, you're probably out with your friends. You're probably eating whatever you want. You're not working out. You probably pick up a basketball on the weekends, and you probably play street basketball with your homeboys, homegirls, whatever. But you're not taking it seriously enough to where it's like, oh yes, this is somebody that really, really wants it bad. But when you look at a star athlete, they're in the gym. When they're not tending to other obligations that they have in their life, they are in the gym. They are putting in the work. They are making sure that they're feeding their bodies well, that they're nurturing their bodies well, that they're getting enough sleep. They're making sure that all the boxes are checked for them to perform at their best selves. So, what does that mean? that means that if you really want something bad enough, you are going to have to change into the person who will be able to not only receive those blessings, but to sustain and also multiply those blessings so that they can become more than what you could ever imagine. And I know this, like, I feel like I'm talking a lot with my hands, and I'm a little bit more, I'm using a little bit more volume than I typically would. And that's because I'm just super passionate about this, because y'all, the very first episode I gave y'all was about self-sabotage, and it's so hard to unlearn the habits that been holding us back for decades. Like, that's something that we also have to take into account. Like, I'm saying these things, and I'm not saying it like it's just this easy process, because nothing worth having comes easy. I've heard that several times, and you probably heard that several times as well, that nothing worth having comes easy. But what we also have to recognize is that it's not that it has to be easy. It's all about how bad do you want it. How bad do you want to be rich? How bad do you want to have financial freedom? How bad do you want to be able to travel? How bad do you want to be able to live this abundant life where you're able to sit here and explore the world with your family, your grandkids? How bad do you want to have $1 million business? How bad do you want to be an actress or a musician of any kind? Like, whatever it is that your goals are, you have to really assess how bad do you want it. And oftentimes the successful people, they say you have to understand your why. And quick little brief story time. I worked in a furniture store when I think it was my 3rd year of college, and I worked at Ashley Furniture. And one of the managers, the actual store manager, he told us, like, within our first few weeks after orientation, that we needed to make a whiteboard and put it in the break room. Y'all, I never made the whiteboard. I was only there for all of like 5-6 months, but I never made the whiteboard. But though we was getting hourly pay, it was still a commission-based job. Like, if you really wanted to be making some good money, you had to rely on commission heavily. And I had to, go through different types of barriers in terms of like why I wasn't making the commissions that I wanted to make on a consistent basis. Like, I was just having good weeks, but I wasn't consistently coming home with some good money. And at the time, I really didn't feel like it was because my intentions weren't clear. But now that I'm older and I see how goals really work, yes, it was because my intentions weren't clear. Because though I had to deal with, racism and all that came with that job, and I'm not going to get into it in this video, but perhaps in a future topic it'll be more relevant. But though I had certain things that I had to fight against in order to really like make things happen, it wasn't really about the obstacles or the barriers. It was about me. It was about, why was I not showing up hungry every day to make the most that I can? I was okay with, being denied, because I was thinking like, oh, I'm just at a disadvantage. But guys, you're almost always at some type of disadvantage. There's always somebody that's better than you, smarter than you, richer than you. There's always somebody that's a few steps ahead. And like I said in the failure episode, what other people have does not take away from what you can have for yourself. But what I will say is that you will continue to be left behind if you don't change your mind. You can't sit here and make excuses about how you're at a disadvantage. Yes, okay, acknowledge the disadvantage, but what can you do to really put yourself in the game? But it all boils down to you having to want it bad enough. You have to understand, what are you even here for? Why do you want that? Why do you want it so bad? And if you don't want it bad, then why do you want it at all? If it's something you can live without, then why even bother asking and praying and begging for this thing? What's the reason? What's the reason, for real? I think that we need to really dial in and really check in with ourselves on a consistent basis to really understand not only if we want the things that we've been praying for a long time, and we've been just waiting for them to come into fruition, because sometimes our desires actually change, but we're so stuck on, oh, I wanted this 2 years ago. Well, the person you are today doesn't even care about that thing. So stop praying for it and really like assess what is it that you really want, and who are you now, and where do you see yourself in the future, and what will that person want, and pray for that. But regardless of what you're praying for, if you're praying for something that you wanted 2 years ago, something you want currently, or something you think you'll want in the future, you have to really be real with yourself about the why. And allow that why to drive you. You can't be sitting here saying like, oh, I want $1 million business just so that I could be a millionaire. Okay, for what though? So that you could be a millionaire, and so that you can sit here and buy all these lavish things to be back broke again? Or do you want to change lives? Do you want to put your family in position? Do you want to create generational wealth? Like, what is your why? Allow the why to drive you. Because yes, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging to adopt new helpful habits to get yourself to where you want to be. It's not easy. It's not an easy road. And I'll go back to talking. I feel like I'm always going to refer back to losing weight or even gaining weight. But I don't have no problem gaining weight. So I'm using losing weight, child, because, oh, baby, I am a eater. I love to eat. I am a foodie. I eat. I'm really not a picky eater. Like, I eat almost everything. Like, as long as it doesn't stink. It could look crazy. I'll smell it. If it smells like it's going to be appetizing, I'll give it a try. But it's not even about that. It's about being mindful and using moderation. And in the example of wanting to lose weight and praying that I can reach my fitness goals and all of the things, why is it that it's taking me so long? You know why? Because I'm praying and I'm asking, God, please help me to lose weight. God, please help me to lose weight. But I'm not really assessing what is it about myself. What is it that I keep doing that's kept me in this same state? Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. And like I said, this might be relevant, but it might not be relevant for you. But I think regardless of what you're praying for and what you're asking for, you can apply exactly what I'm saying to your personal circumstance. But in regards of losing weight, okay, cool. So the unhealthy habits that I have, I go and I buy food out and about wherever I'm going. I'll just be wanting to try different things, so I'm buying food. Cool. Even if you buying healthier options, if you're doing it on a consistent basis, you're more than likely not in a caloric deficit. Had to come to the realization. Sad story, true story. But I'm not in a caloric deficit. I'm sitting here buying food. Yes, I eat at home, but I often eat out as well. So now I'm sitting here going over my actual calorie goal for the day. I don't know what it's called, but I'm going over the amount of calories that I'm supposed to be consuming each day, basically. Am I drinking enough water? Am I flushing out the toxins in my body regularly so that I'm not accumulating things that's just build up, that's adding to me not being able to lose weight? Something to think about. Am I eating within a mindful window? Okay, I know I'm going to bed between 9 and 10 o'clock. I shouldn't be eating dinner at 8 o'clock. I shouldn't be eating dinner at 8:30, 9 o'clock. But I'm hungry. But I need a snack. Like, okay, so you really don't want to lose the weight as bad as you say. And I can really go on and on, because let's talk about even moving my body. You know, they say like when you starting off a new habit or whatever, in particular going to the gym, they say, oh, you know, if you're not used to going to the gym, you should start off with, 3 days a week, 30 minutes, 3 days a week, just to get yourself into the groove of things. Baby, I done did the 3 days a week, on and off for how long, I don't know. But it's time to up my game. We talked about bare minimum. It's time to up your game. So going back to just the grand scheme of things, when you're sitting here wanting better for yourself and you're praying for more and you're praying for better, you have to put yourself into the position on a consistent basis. Like, okay, you're starting off, you're doing the small things. Cool. That's good. You're breaking ground. But how long are you going to do those first few steps? It's not going to take you where you want to go if all you're doing is, I'm just sitting here looking for suppliers every week. I'm just sitting here looking for suppliers. Oh, I'm just going back and forth with this design. Like, okay. So when do you actually plan on things, changing? When do you expect things to really be brought to your reality? You gotta be real with yourself. Like, we be standing in our own way more than we realize. We want big things. We want better things for ourselves, and that's great. But we can't continue to be the same people that have been having these experiences that are not what we want and expect to be brought the things that we want, that we're asking and praying for. We can't do that. You have the same experience on a day-to-day because you're continuously doing the same things. You want different, you gotta do different. You want change, you gotta change. Like, it's really not rocket science. It's hard to actually put things into practice. Yes, it doesn't have to be. Yes, start with the baby steps, but don't continue to do the same first few steps and think like, oh, okay, now I'm just waiting on God. No, you're not waiting on God. He's still waiting on you. Yes, you started, but what is the reason that you want this thing? So in the case of, will you still use the fitness example? You want to lose weight? Okay, cool. So what you gonna do to show me that you really want to lose weight? What you gonna show me to prove to me that you want me to bring about this new health, this new wellness that you've been asking for? Okay, I'm gonna show up to the gym every single day. I'm gonna follow my routine versus my feelings. I'm not finna sit here and watch a TV show for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of my day just because I'm off from work. I'm gonna go ahead and create that business plan. I'm gonna contact suppliers. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be doing more in order for more to be brought to you. You're not waiting on God. He's waiting on you. How painful would it be if you were able to live the reality that you wanted for like a week, a month, or even a year, and then be back at square one, sitting here like, dang, how did I lose sight of what I had in front of me? How did I get what I wanted and not be able to keep it? How did it go so quickly? Well, you lucked up. You lucked up. You was given what you was praying and asking for, but you weren't the person who was ready to have those things. So they're gone. Nobody wants to face that disappointment though. So just do the work. Just change how you're supposed to change so that you can be fruitful and multiply. You want to sit here and reap the fruit? Go ahead and plant those seeds. But don't just plant them in the ground and forget about them. Water them every single day, or whatever consistency looks like for you. Some things don't need your time and attention every single day. Sometimes it's a every other day, a weekly, a bi-weekly check-in. You have to know what's appropriate for the goals that you have. But regardless of what the goals are, you have to change. You have to change. It's all gonna start with you. And in those moments where things get hard, when you're sitting here, with clouded judgment, like, is this even worth it? That's where the why comes in. Why did you want to start this in the first place? If it's superficial, it won't last. It won't last. It won't last. Just like a relationship. If you get in with somebody because they're cute, they got money, you see what they got, like in terms of experiences or just any type of materialistic thing, and they seeing something in you that probably isn't the same things that they have, but they giving you a shot. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work if one day that same person that you was attracted to because of what they had now gets injured. Now they in the hospital. Now they literally are sitting here selling things to support themselves financially. You're going to be out the door because you was never with that person for who they were. It starts with you. You have to be the right person. You have to be the right person to be able to sustain the things that you want in life. And that's my quick little message for today, because I don't really think there's anything else left to be said. I remember listening to this motivational video by Steve Harvey, and he was saying, like, you have not because you ask not. And that's also very valid. We be asking and then sometimes retreating, thinking like, oh, it's taking too long, so it must not be going to happen. But sometimes people really just don't ask, and they still be expecting it to come into their reality because they think about it every single day. But if you're asking and you're still not receiving, then hey, what does that possibly mean? Maybe you just don't have it yet because you're not the person that's ready for it. That's not to say that it'll never happen, but if you really, really want it to happen, you have to become the person who will be able to sustain it. But that's all I got. This was a quick little episode. I think it was quick. I don't really know what time I started or what time it is now, but I think it was quick. But I just wanted to come and share that with you guys, because this is something that I had to like have a reality check with myself with about. So many goals that I have. I'm looking at my vision board right now, and certain things been on here for the last 3 years. Are they in my reality? No, because I was going about my days very lackadaisically, like, oh, I know this gonna happen. I've been praying for this. And it's like, yes, the power of God is real. He can grant you anything that you ask, desire, or seek. Yes, that's very true. But you have to put in the work. You have to change into the person that's going to be able to not only receive those things, but sustain those things. So if this resonates with you, go ahead and like, comment, add to the conversation, but also share this with anybody who you feel this will also resonate with, because I feel like this is something that really is a touchy subject, because we hate putting the blame on ourselves, but oftentimes we are standing in our own way. But once you have the reality check and you say, okay, you know what, I love myself too much to give up. I love myself too much to stand in my own way. And you really start peeling away at the toxic habits and the toxic behaviors that's really been holding you back from becoming the person that can step into that, you know, that power and that oomph that you need to really get the ball rolling and keep rolling till you become that actual person of your dreams. Like, until you get to that state of really being real with yourself, everything will remain a dream. Everything will remain a dream. And as time passes, you're going to be sitting here either getting discouraged or losing sight of the goal itself, because you're thinking like, oh, it's just not going to happen for me. Have you changed? Have you really thought about why you've been asking for this thing? I mean, it could be a situation at times where it's just like, it's just not meant for you. God is protecting you. You're not supposed to have that. But a lot of the times, I feel like we're just being our own way. He knows the desires of your heart. And if it's something that's been on your heart for so long, then I feel like it is God sent. But you're not going to be able to have it in your reality until you change into the person that deserves it. That's the best word. I don't know how it took to the end of the video for me to even think about that. But you're not going to get what you want until you're the person that deserves it. And that's how life goes in general. You don't get anything else that you want unless you deserve it. I mean, we're not talking about, you know, the spoiled kiddos that's running around here. You know, sometimes, you know, I was one. So, you know, guilty. I was getting things that I probably didn't necessarily deserve, and I was doing the bare minimum, and it was working out for me. And that's probably the problem now. Honestly, that's probably how I ended up being where I'm at now. But we have the freedom to change. And so if you really, really want change to enter your life, it starts with you. You just have to make the change in your behavior and the change in your mentality and your habits to bring about what you really, really want the most. So I'll send you off with love. I hope that this was a really insightful episode that will, you know, get those brains turning, and you will really start to implement change into your daily routine, your daily lives, so that we can all just live the lives that we've been dreaming of. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Toodles.